Alright guys, so following up with a video where I told you guys to focus on guild boss battle first rather than diving into the arena where all of the meta consistently changes with the release of new cookies, as well as where people find counters to certain comps that come out. Guild boss battle is definitely going to be the easier one to focus for a lot of the players. I know some people have actually commented saying, hey, HyRool, but it's easier to actually push inside of the arena with a team that is very weak, while inside of the guild boss battle you can't do much as a newer player. But if you guys go with that statement, then you guys can actually just say that you can use the guild boss battle team that you probably should work on first, and use that exact same team inside of the arena and still have a bit of success, because inside of the arena the skill level gap is actually really big as an individual player, that some people don't even put defense correctly, or they may have a troll team, whatever it is, bait team, and you still will be having success with the guild boss battle team rather than having to have a specific arena comp in the beginning as a newer player. So let me show you guys exactly which cookies you guys should be focusing on for the guild boss battle, so that you guys can use this team and level them up and actually contribute to a decent active guild, so that you guys can gain the crystals and the rewards that you guys are able to get from the guild boss battle weekly, and then also now transition towards the arena for the current meta. But let's start with the dragon first, guys. Dragon has been inside of the game since I believe March, April of last year. All right, so we have so many different dragon teams, but still within that there are certain cookies that has always stayed the same. All right, so here we go, guys. Let's go with the dragon first, and it's not going to be this right here, but some of these cookies, actually majority of these cookies, are going to be the ones that you want to use. First, let's go with the tanks real quick first. All right, so the first one is going to be right here, Dark Choco. Dark Choco has been inside of the guild boss battle team for the Red Velvet Dragon since pretty much almost the very beginning. All right, with the 20% defense reduction buff that is able to stack all the way up to about 3 times, which equals a total of 60%. Dark Choco allows your team to deal a ton of damage, and on top of that, he actually has the knock up with his lightning, where he's able to push away the minions that are summoned so that your team does not get affected, and himself or the content sheep will be the ones affected. So Dark Choco is definitely going to be a great tank to use, not only inside of the World Exploration, because he will help you guys throughout some of the bosses, but inside of the guild boss battle he is going to be a designated tank for majority of the dragon. Okay, there are some times when he is not used, like you guys saw previously where Affogato was the front line. However, in majority of the cases, for majority of the newer players, if you guys have Dark Choco, then he is going to be one of the best. And then moving on to the next tank that you guys can definitely use right now for the dragon is going to be Crunchy Chip Cookie. All right, Crunchy Chip Cookie is also used in a lot of different bosses as well, but because of the fact that lower level dragon does not one-shot your team majority of the time, if you guys have them leveled up, all right, and built, this cookie is able to slow down the dragon's attack, allowing your team to deal a lot more damage and die later rather than having to deal with all of the attacks in a full duration of time. All right, so definitely going to be one of the better cookies, and also can be used inside of a summoner comp too, right, and inside of World Exploration. So Crunchy Chip is going to be a very good cookie to invest in alongside Dark Choco. Next one is going to be the middle lane, mainly the damage dealers and the support cookies, kind of to deal more damage, right? The debuffer, which is going to be Eclair. You guys already know Eclair has that 25% weakness debuff, so definitely a must-have cookie, not only for the guild boss battle, but for the arena as well as the World Exploration as well. Affogato also is a great debuffer with the debuff amplify and damage over time. Affogato is able to deal with the dragon as well as some other enemies like the Yeti and things like that. And then we have Captain Caviar, who is going to be our newest addition to the dragon team for lower level, where you're going to have that 42%, all right, defense reduction with his torpedoes, and is able to deal a ton of massive burst damage. All right, so right now he is going to be a addition that you guys can add to your dragon team if you guys have the ability to. And then the next role is going to be your main damage dealer, and that is going to be Vampire as well as Sorbet if you do not have Vampires, Magic Candy, or Vampire himself. All right, these two are going to be the main damage dealers who are able to dodge the meteorites as well as some of the fire breath and things like that from the dragon, and will be able to deal a ton of burst damage to that single enemy. All right, so right now, there has been some where, sorbet has been used previously, but with the magic candy, vampire has been the best and is the best right now for the overall damage. So definitely those two are going to be the ones. And then lastly is going to be the ones that are going to tank pretty much for your entire team, and that's going to be content. All right, without a doubt, content is the one that you guys should be focusing on, especially for world exploration as well. However, if you have content and you have the ability to level up Oyster later on, Oyster will definitely help out as well to summon those 4 soldiers to tank for your team, as well as deal some extra damage because of the crit percentage. All right, but those 2 are going to be the ones, and there's actually one more that has been forgotten, and that is going to be Licorice right over here. Not used anymore because it's just better to use content and it's more consistent, but Licorice was once used before. And if you guys don't have either one of them, maybe you guys can definitely try and use Licorice as well. All right, but there's an honorable mention as well. There's one more that actually can be used inside of the dragon, and that is going to be Squid Ink later on. There are some comps that use Squid Ink as a major damage dealer alongside Vampire, but that is going to be a very kind of unique thing, and that's going to work out if you guys have all of them leveled up. And then the next one is going to be the Avatar of Destiny. Pretty much one of the, I would say right now, the most simple team that you guys can make is going to be this right over here. So it's going to consist of pomegranate, oyster, squid, rye, cherry blossom. So this team is going to allow you to go from all the way up from level 1 all the way to 41, depending on your spec or your stat of your cookies and the toppings that you guys have. Of course, the damage output is going to depend on your toppings, but like I said, it is going to be a team that a lot of people are using right now inside of the guild from level 1 to level 41, and it's literally the same thing the entire way through. All right, of course the toppings, you are going to have to watch a different video because I can't include the entire thing in this video, but it's going to be pomegranate, oyster, squid, rye, and cherry blossom. And then later on, some other cookies like, for the fork, you can use something like this right over here where mint choco and blackberry are used instead of, cherry blossom as well as oyster to deal more auto attack damage with the fork. But this one is going to be a bit harder to build in my opinion compared to this one. And a lot of these cookies will help you out inside of the world exploration as well. Pomegranate, great healer and a buffer. Cherry Blossom also very good with a lot of mobs inside of the world exploration and is able to give attack boost. Oyster once again can be used inside of the dragon as well. Squid Ink also can be used inside of the dragon and is able to dodge a lot of the attacks while they vanish. As well as we have Rye, who is also able to deal a ton of damage to a single enemy like bosses, except for the Red Velvet Dragon because Red Velvet Dragon does have that damage reflection. Alright, and then quickly just going over the Living Abyss. Living Abyss is probably one of the most tricky boss for a lot of the players because of the level of adaptation that you guys need to have for certain levels. But I would say right now, if you guys are able to, something like the Summoner Comp, which is going to include Cotton, Oyster, as well as Crunchy Chip from the previous, 2 bosses, alongside Squid Ink and someone like, Pumpkin Pie. There has been times when they use Snow Sugar, and things like that. You guys can definitely just use this in order to help out and contribute to your team. There are other teams like this right over here where you use Dark Cacao, Pomegranate, Captain Caviar, Squid Ink, as well as Espresso to deal a ton of extra damage in the later levels where you can see Squid Ink and Captain Caviar coming into place and Pomegranate once again. So definitely some of these cookies are going to be the ones that you should definitely focus on for each of these bosses. It was super quick, but I hope you guys kind of get the idea of what you guys be focusing on. And you guys can already see that some of these cookies, as you see, Captain Caviar, some Dark Cacao here, Squid Ink, Eclair, Oyster, Cotton, they have all been part of the meta. All right, so they can always be used inside of the arena as well. So you guys can see why I am pushing the idea of actually leveling up the cookies for the guild boss battle first to get the buffs, from the guild, as well as the rewards from the guild, and then also push inside of the arena, eventually and gradually as you guys level up these cookies. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys found the video helpful. I will kind of put it all down in the comments below so that you guys can see exactly what I've gone over and some of the cookies that I do recommend for each of the bosses so that you guys have it in one go. But thank you guys for watching the toppings once again. You guys will want to watch separate videos, individual videos where they talk about individual settings because the builds can differ depending on the player and depending on the team. Anyways, guys, once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys all on the next one.